three called right at the knees. A little sinker. Swing and a miss. Third time that he's gotten Meisner. That's 9 strikeouts.
That's a good pitch by Luzardo, and he's fired up after 6 strong innings.
Usually after a start, we'll kind of know what we want to work on or what they need to, if there's something they want to do different before the next start. Then I'll just check in with Caleb or the pitcher and kind of have conversations about how that went, how they felt in the pen, what they worked on, what looked better, what didn't look as good, stuff like that. So just having conversations about how they went usually.
We kind of think of bullpens in 2 ways. We have a portion that's over the rubber. It's the language we use, over the rubber or over the plate. So our over the rubber work is, it's me versus myself. It's me versus my delivery, resetting delivery, getting back to my move and cues and setup so we can spend some time there. When we start talking about execution, pitch shapes, attacking hitters, using some of the things we can in our bullpen, that's our over the plate session. So me specifically, if we're over the rubber, a lot of times I'll be by the rubber to be kind of that piece of feedback for the pitcher. And our bullpens, we're very fortunate because we have kind of seamlessly intertwined in the whole thing is a lot of tech and TVs that we can capture and we can use it pitch to pitch. We cannot use it. This year that's new, we have the ability to kind of tag where we try to throw it, where the pitch ended up. We get an inch miss, so there's a lot of command feedback, which is, it's really important for any pitcher, but our pitchers with such good stuff and always having that in real-time feedback. It's still jarring for myself and some guys. You throw a pitch and it's a pretty good pitch and it's saying you missed 7 inches, which is actually elite. So when Aaron Nola throws a pen and his total miss is around 10 inches, let's say, that might sound like a lot, but it's really hard to miss because you start talking about the glove. I mean, you hit the glove, you could have missed the center of the glove by 5 inches. So we're kind of using all those to our advantage on what the focus should be or if we should be over the rubber or over the plate. Aaron's a good example. It's using kind of the post game and just making sure the distance between what we think has happened and what's actually happened. Start with locations of pitches, usage, the count on hitters, just making sure that we're in the same ballpark. Because a lot of times what will happen is, I left that ball over the middle. We can and should be more specific because if it was a little bit up, middle column, that's a little different of an evaluation than if it's middle down, middle away. But sometimes, heat of the moment, pitcher's head's ripping off a little bit, the catcher's trying to catch a swing, and we think it's middle, but it was down away. So it's like, what are the hitters really telling us? And I think for Aaron, he has the ability to throw any pitch, for the most part, to any spot of the zone. So this has been the conversation lately, are we asking as much as we can from the hitters based on our plan? Because he can command any spot. And, there's times where I definitely think he's been unlucky, so it's how do we add context around that unluck? But when we get to 2 strikes, have we done it in a way that we still have options? I think the example would be if we're down and away kind of consistently to the righty, but we don't make them account for in, we don't make them to think about up or the fear of it. We're facing hitters a little bit more in bullpens to think through these at-bats, and I'm throwing maybe some situations at him, but he's really good at doing that on his own. So for me, it's a little bit of just being there and the feedback piece. And there's also an element of getting out of your comfort zone. Sometimes when things aren't going well, the default is to let me get back to exactly what I do. Sometimes that's good. Sometimes we got to get out of our comfort zone to try something, to feel something that could help unlock the thing that we're actually after.
Yeah. And a called strike 3 right on the inside part of the plate. And a strike 3 call right down the chute. And a called strike 3 on the inside corner.
The thing I love most about relieving is you get to come to the yard every day with an opportunity to help the team win or the opportunity to compete even. So for me personally, I get to the field, I get with the trainers, do a little activation and get a little prep work done before I go in and do my lift, and then we go out for stretch. Our stretch and our catch before the game is kind of just to see where you're at to be ready for that night. It's different when you watch a starting pitcher throughout the week. They have their routine of throwing 90 feet, 120, long toss, bullpen, all this. Well, relievers, we kind of have to be ready every night. So you're basically just playing catch to make sure it's not broken, and then you go from there. As a reliever, it's literally rolling with the punches on what feels, how it feels, and what we need to take care of.
it's probably the most important thing a catcher does, in my opinion, is builds those relationships, and just finding ways to give the pitcher's confidence is really what it comes down to for me, because our guys they're all good. They're here for a reason. They all have really good stuff. Part of my job is reminding them of that daily, and sometimes inning by inning or every pitch you got to remind them sometimes, just to let them know how good they are and how to have confidence in their stuff. You know, we do a lot of work before the game, preparation-wise, as far as the scouting report goes. So once we get on the field, I want them to be able to just trust their stuff and focus on execution and not have to think about anything else. And for me, if you have that relationship with a pitcher, you're going to get the best out of him.
He's one of the hardest working guys in baseball that I've come across, and to see the work he puts in with his scouting reports and everything, it makes it that much easier to trust him out there and just to go along with the flow. I could count on one hand how many times I've shaken my head in my career. So yeah, I don't think I've shaken JT once in my career yet.
Strikes. Line drive out to right center field. On the run is Marsh, and he won't get there.
Castellanos back at the track, at the wall, and out of room. And here in the ninth inning with nobody out, it's a 3-2 Phillies lead.
Kepler going back out toward the scoreboard. It is gone. A 2-run home run. It's a 1-run game. Oh my.
I say starters are kind of like a SWAT team, where they get the time and the preparation to execute a plan. Being a reliever is kind of like protecting your house during a home invasion. Just wake up and go. It's there, so something's happening. You gotta get it done, and that's kind of the mentality we take. Is when that phone rings, just doesn't matter who's in the box. It's just we gotta go get them. This year's struggles out of the bullpen, it honestly felt like an anomaly to me. When you look at our numbers of first pitch strikes, how much we were attacking the zone, I would have never guessed the result was what it was. I remember Jordan, after giving up the 6 runs that night in the locker room, I'm like, dude, you couldn't do that again if you tried. The 1 in 100 happened 6 at-bats in a row for you. Like, I don't know, like, that's just, this game is cruel sometimes.
Especially as a relief pitcher, it's never easy coming on a new team, especially a team here where there's so much expectation. There's a lot of pressure, and it's not easy to play here. And then you throw on top of it, he's a relief pitcher, which in my opinion, it's the most stressful job in the sport, because every time you take the ball, the game, it's on you. You know, he struggled early. Most of it, in my opinion, just had to do with command and not getting ahead of guys, walking guys, and then throwing balls in the heart of the plate. I feel like lately he's really gotten to where he's executing well. He's attacking the zone, throwing the ball, mixing his fastball and slider well, and putting him in the locations that he's trying to put him in.
We found some things, after the first couple weeks in his delivery that you'll see this in a lot of relievers, that they just subtly change over time. So kind of wanted to re-anchor back to like when he's moving his best, what seems to be the most important piece of his delivery. So we had some stuff, we sat down and collaborated, and it made sense to him, and he took it right into a game, and it was better. And he had a little bit of a calibration period, but I think right now, past week or so, 2 weeks, what sticks out to me is that he's pitching free. Like, he's not battling himself. He's over the plate, not over the rubber. Like, he's doing the work outside of competition that kind of calms that gremlin we all have that's like, hey, am I doing enough? Am I doing the right things? So he's really comfortable there, so the work's consistent so that he can go pitch free. And that's what it looks like. It's very subtle, but the difference in bouncing the slider competitively versus non-competitively, relieving in the zone 2 strikes, that's the difference in getting that swing and they miss, the bat's over versus they foul it off. He's done a really nice job of first time he needs to hit a specific pitch and location, he's just done it. That usually comes from pitching free and having a really clear plan and not overthinking. You're not having to battle yourself. So he's battling the hitters right now.
Lowest ERA since 1912 by a Phillies pitcher through his first 8 starts. With left-handed pitcher, swing and a miss. He gets a strikeout. Swing and a miss. He got him. 3rd strikeout, 2nd one of the inning.
I knew his stuff was really good from having to face him. I mean, he's tough. He's beaten us up for a few years now, so I knew the stuff was there. I just didn't know anything about his makeup coming in, and I was just blown away by how hard he worked and how much he's a pitcher. He doesn't. Sometimes you don't know if a guy's just a thrower or a pitcher, whether they think about what they're doing and there's actually reason for what they're doing. He's one of the guys who, he thinks about everything that's going on, and he's got a game plan, and he's really good at executing it. So Learning that about him was the most impressive thing, with how much he thinks about what he's doing and how much work he actually puts into it. It's not just by chance he's that good.
There is this like elephant in the room. Can X pitcher pitch in Philadelphia or big markets? And if there's ever a person that checked that box from my perspective, from the other side, it's Jesus. He's probably one of the best, if not the best, of kind of balancing this tinkerer side of everyone's brain with the competitive. He draws a line in the sand, and he can work on things, but when he crosses that line, he puts those glasses on, he's a different guy. And it's kind of symbolic in some ways. He's been fantastic on the aptitude and the skill to make changes. I mean, adding a sweeper, everyone's doing it, but it's actually really hard to do it with the level of command that he's done it, and it's been very impressive.
It's fun to see him put on those glasses and almost enter into an alter ego where he's such a competitor and so fierce, because he really is. He's pretty quiet and reserved off the field, but once he gets on the mound, he's a dog.
I think they could be as good as any step. All of those guys have the capability of winning a Cy Young, which that's not normal. It's the toughest thing about being really good is the bar is high, and these guys meet it consistently over and over again. They're always trying to raise it a little bit too. Taking nothing away from any staff or any staff that's come before them, I think the ceiling is as high as you possibly, what you could think about. It's a blessing as a pitching coach to work with them, and to have JT kind of also in this mix. It's going to be a fun year.